Landscape photography is a powerful way to connect with nature, a reminder of how small we are in the vast world around us. When it comes to landscape photography in Australia, there's arguably no better place than the iconic Great Ocean Road and Otways. A Photographer's Guide to the Great Ocean Road and Otways by Samantha Olsen is a book that provides everything you need to know about 152 different shoot locations, from the best times of day to visit, the ideal seasons, tide heights, drone regulations, even whether you can bring your dog. It's your ultimate guide to photographing the Great Ocean Road and Otways safely and creatively. 4 years of research went into this book, uncovering hidden locations and determining the best and safest times to visit each one. Those of you with limited time, this book will help you make the most of every moment you have. Whether you shoot with a DSLR or mirrorless camera, or if you're planning to visit the Great Ocean Road or Otways, this book can be your essential companion. Here's what you'll find inside: 152 shoot locations, a location breakdown separated into accommodation areas for easy planning, skills for great landscape images focused on seascapes and waterfalls, weather and tidal information. With 750 pages of information and over 1,000 full-colour images and diagrams, this book is a treasure trove of knowledge. This how-to photography guide, combined with a travel guide, all in one beautifully crafted book, gives you everything you need so you don't waste a moment of your trip. So, don't miss out. Visit Kickstarter.com and search for Great Ocean Road book to get your copy today. Choose a package that includes a physical hardcover book to enjoy all the beautiful images, plus an ebook so you can take this guide with you wherever you go. Get ready to discover the Great Ocean Road like never before. Hello and welcome to Landscape Photography World, the podcast for everyone passionate about landscape photography. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on this show, talking to landscape photographers about their motivations, likes and dislikes. Spanish-born photographer Jose Luis Cantabrana Garcia, now based in Sydney, shares his deep emotional connection with the natural world and how that connection has shaped his striking landscape and architectural images. With roots in interior design, Jose brings a strong sense of composition and structure to his work, which has been featured in publications such as National Geographic, Forbes and The Guardian. He describes his photography as a reflection of his internal landscape, each image capturing not just a scene, but a feeling. Driven by a passion for exploration, Jose often seeks out raw, remote environments where solitude heightens his awareness and creativity. He shares his expertise through workshops, helping others discover their own photographic voice while honing their technical and artistic skills. In this discussion, Jose speaks about the demands of running a photography business, the importance of persistence, and how he adapts to the rapidly changing creative landscape influenced by social media and AI. He emphasises the need for authenticity in a time of digital saturation and the personal fulfilment that comes from crafting meaningful work. I hope you enjoy the show. G'day, Jose. Welcome to Landscape Photography World. How are you going?
Hey, Grant. How's it going? Thank you so much for having me. As I mentioned before, I'm honored to be here. I'm pretty grateful for your approach. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you as well. It's a great pleasure. I love your work, and you're actually one of my favourite seascape photographers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Why don't we start with who you are so other people know who you are? I know who you are.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Jose Luis Cantabrana, tricky name and surname especially. And yeah, I'm a Spanish photographer based in Sydney. And yeah, I'm 100% photographer, so I'm a full-time photographer. Landscape photography is still, I would say, my hobby.
Yeah, okay.
So a small part of my business is coming from landscape photography, but it's not huge, not enough to make a living.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm a professional photographer. I mainly do real estate marketing, architectural, editorial, commercial photography here in Sydney and in Australia. And yeah, I'm coming from Spain. That's my...
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't we start in Spain? What made Jose come to Australia.
Moved to Australia. Yeah, my better half is the guilty there. And yeah, she's Australian. And yeah, I'm here for her.
Fair enough. So how long have you been in Australia?
I've been here since 2017. I visited before, early 17 as well. And then I moved here like November 17.
Well, you're almost a local.
Almost. I applied for my citizenship actually a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Almost a local, apart from the accent.
It took my English wife nearly 30 years to apply for a citizenship. She was living here.
Yeah, same with me. I could have done it like 3-4 years ago, but I was just like too lazy. I didn't need it. Visas are expensive here. Passport is the most expensive passport in the world. So I was like, do I need it? No. Like, world is changing really quickly. Just to keep this door open, I think that was the best option for me.
Fair enough. So why photography? You mentioned that you're a full-time professional. Has that always been what you've done? Were you
Absolutely not. So yeah, my background is in interior design.
Okay.
And yeah, while I was studying my degree, I think it was like 2011, 2012. One of my subjects was photography. And I have to say, like, I played with cameras before that time, but I was never into it. And yeah, when I started with the subject during my degree, I was like, I picked up my dad's old camera. He had like several film cameras, but I was playing with the digital one. I believe it was like a Canon 400D or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
12 megapixels. He had a bunch of lenses. So yeah, I just started playing with it. I had 2 years. Yeah, I believe it was 2 years of that subject during my like 3.5 years degree. So yeah, that's when I started playing with a camera. I bought my own camera like a year later. And then, yeah, I moved to the UK after my degree.
Yep.
And I was playing a little bit. I was doing like more like cityscapes, shooting around London, whatever I could see. Like if I was traveling, I traveled to Scotland with my parents.
Yep.
And yeah, I was like shooting their landscapes. But it wasn't like, it was still a hobby. I would have never thought that photography was going to be like my life, which is now. And yeah, after all of that, when I decided to come here to Australia, I got really lucky because in my first 2 months, I was basically unemployed. And I was like open to working, whatever. I was just like a stranger here, so I just had to survive. But yeah, I got contacted by 500 Pixels, the photography platform, and they were looking for Australian photographers or based Australian photographers to shoot some hotels for Trivago, the hotel search app.
Sure.
So yeah, at that time I was based in Perth. I lived there for 6 months because my partner's from there. And yeah, I just started shooting hotels. And then, yeah, I moved to Queensland, to the North Queensland, Cairns, Port Douglas.
Yep.
And I was doing exactly the same there, shooting hotels. But at the same time, I had to work in hospitality, yes, in order to get another year of my working holiday visa.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like doing that. And then when I came to Sydney, I reached like some companies because the Trivago work was finishing. So I was still doing it in Port Douglas, but I wasn't able to continue here in Sydney. And yeah, I reached some companies just that they were doing like architectural stuff, real estate marketing. And that's how I got into it.
Awesome. Sounds great. And let's talk about the landscape stuff. You said you were doing that as a hobby. Where did you, it sounds, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like you went from doing travel to where you are now, which is very artistic and it's a lot more conceptual than just a travel snapshot. And
that's right.
Where did that kind of start for you? When did it become, this is actually art as opposed to just a documentation of where I've been?
Yeah, I always thought that photography was art. So it's been always, I never tried to document places where I've been. Obviously, when you are starting, you just shoot whatever. But yeah, during the times that I was like, before coming to Australia, I did a little bit of travel around Southeast Asia, so Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and I brought my camera there. And my intentions with the camera was like shooting their landscapes. For whatever reason, like landscapes attracted me more than cities or, I don't know, like people or street photography. So that's how like I started. And then obviously Instagram in those days, I think this and yeah, let's say, for example, that I started with landscape like from 2016, 2017.
Okay. Yeah.
At that time, Instagram was a thing. It was like way more important than 500 pixels, way more important than Flickr. And yeah, I found a really good community of Spanish photographers that they were starting as I was at that time. And yeah, all together we created this WhatsApp group because we thought that we knew how Instagram worked and the algorithm worked. And so we created this WhatsApp group, and everyone that was posting a photo was like sharing it in that group. So everyone was like commenting it and liking it. And like we thought, if in the first 10 minutes you receive like 100 likes, like it will just go viral. And at that time, it worked. Like,
yeah, that's right.
In the past, my first post had more likes than I do have now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. But like with that group, like everyone was posting better and better photos. And for me, it was like, I want to do this, or I want to see if, what my friend is doing. Yeah. So like that group, and we still have it, like, which is crazy, like 8 years apart, and we are still like texting that group like almost daily. And it could be just like not related to photo anymore, but it's like a bunch of friends, a bunch of photographers that became friends, and they push each other to be better in photography.
Yes.
And yeah, some of them are like, I would say 30% of them are working like full-time photography, which is amazing. Most of them doing landscape. Others are still like hobbyists, but really good hobbyists.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like from that point, like everyone was like pushing each other to be better. And when they discovered something new, they were sharing it with each other. So from that time is when landscape was like becoming a thing in my life. And I can say, like, from when I started with photography, I started to love Mother Nature. So in the past, I was coming from Spain, Madrid. It's a big city. We got mountains close by, like you drive up north, like 1 hour and a half, and you have like probably the tallest mountains that we have here in Australia. But it was never my thing. Like during the summer holidays, we were going to a coastal town. Yes, I love that. Like we were fishing and I was like in contact with the sea all the time, and I love that. But I was never like, oh, I'm going to go to this place to see this waterfall, or I want to go to this place to see these cliffs. But with photography, it was like, oh, I want to shoot that place.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, absolutely. So I could say that thanks to photography, I discovered Mother Nature, or I discovered experiencing better Mother Nature. And I'm like super grateful for that.
Awesome. And I guess that sounds to me like that's one of your greatest inspirations, is being able to find unique places and so forth. Is there anything else? Is there a person or a specific location that has influenced you more than others?
Like just in terms of photography, or?
Yeah.
Yes, like, of course, like Mother Nature like inspires me every time that I go out there. But it's not just that. It's like art in general. Like you could be listening to musicians, or you could be like seeing like painters, something like that. And it could be like, that's very good. Or that style, I love it. Or that abstraction that she's expressing with her paintings. Like maybe that's something that I can include somehow in my photos. Yeah. Like it's not that you can get inspiration to be a photographer or to make better photos from photography. It could be absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And I think when you get this inspiration that is like outside the photography world, it resonates even more in your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
Okay, cool. And how do you connect with a place before you photograph it? Do you rely more on instinct? Do you do research? Or is it just experience because you know, okay, it's raining, so I'll go to a waterfall because there'll be plenty of water there, you know? What kind of things are you doing before you go out and shoot in terms of planning and so forth? Or are you more instinctive and go, okay, weather looks good, I'm going to go?
No, I can say that now is totally different to when I started. When I started, it was like, yeah, you see a photo on Instagram and you just want to go to that place.
Yeah, right.
Or you see a photo in 500 pixels and you want to go to that place. And then you just went to that place. Like I had never done a lot of research to try to photograph a place. Now it's totally different. My photography, how can I say this? My photography life is evolving.
Yep.
And it's like I want to be like more unique. I want to get to more special places that haven't been sold before, or there are not many people around. So you do a little bit more research. When this, especially for astro, I think it's really important. Astrophotography is a part of photography that I discovered here in Australia.
Okay.
In Europe, we are really unlucky with the light pollution and the skies that we have there.
Yeah, sure.
And don't get me wrong, like back at home in Spain, there are dark places, but it could be, I don't know, the darkest place in let's say in the peninsula. It could be like a Portal 3, Portal 4.
Yeah.
You can get the same here if you go to Barrenjoey Lighthouse, for example.
Yeah, that's right.
You are facing to the east. So yeah, you can still shoot the Milky Way, but it was never a thing. So yeah, for astrophotography especially, you really need to do your research and you need to plan well in advance.
Yeah, you need to know what's going on in the sky, as well as where you're going to go, so you know where to stick your tripod.
Yeah, and once I'm on site, I normally try to spend scouting as much as I can.
Yeah.
For me, scouting is probably one of the most underrated aspects of photography.
Okay.
And that is what is going to help you to have like a more unique photo. You go, for example, I don't know, to Barrenjoey Lighthouse, and then you just take whatever you've seen, like from the concrete area, and then just shoot in the lighthouse. That's pretty cool. But that photo is going to be on Instagram like 1,000 times.
Yeah, same composition.
Yeah, same composition.
Thousands of other people have done it
and
before.
Don't get me wrong, like I still go to some places and I get those keeper photos.
Sure.
And like I was shooting in Macquarie Chair, I don't know for how many times I've been there, and in Kirribilli, and there is no much you can do. Like certain locations when you have 1,000 photographers every single day, there is no much you can do. Everything's been seen. But
you can still make a nice shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But still in those places, I still think that I got, for example, from Kirribilli Point.
Yep.
I still think that I got a photo that I never seen before.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're familiar you have the beautiful panorama here, and then you cross that bridge. And that bridge, and then you have a little wharf on the left side.
I know exactly where you are.
Yeah. So basically, under that bridge, I went there one day, and I was like there was a little bit of movement in the harbor, and I could see some waves crashing. And I was like, maybe it's worth just like getting wet down there. And I like jumped down the wall, and I took that photo, and I think I got like the panorama, the cityscape of Sydney, and then with the two walls. And I had never seen that photo before.
I certainly haven't seen it other than your shot.
I'm not saying that I'm the first one shooting it, because there are like 1,000 images in this world that I haven't seen, like more than 1,000. Like trying to look for different compositions is something that you would never do if you are not scouting the place.
Yeah.
You go to a sunset place with 5 minutes before the sky explodes. No way you are going to get something different to the rest.
Absolutely.
Just get for what you have seen on Instagram. And saying this, I'm like, now when I'm planning to do like different things, different locations that I've never seen before, I'm avoiding using Instagram. I'm avoiding using like 500 pixels.
Yeah, right.
And I go to places like more like Google Maps, Google Earth, even like hiking apps. And you can see like the photos that is people that are documenting their hikes, but you can see like some of the images, and it's okay, this could have potential. I might try it out. Just to try to keep my eyes away, because we are lazy. Human nature. It's like we are lazy. If we see that something or a composition works, we will just try to repeat it. So we could be like walking around like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, damn it, let's go for the composition that works because I've seen it a million times. But if you go there like with a couple of hours in advance, or you are like exploring the day, using your apps, for example, for astrophotography, using photo pills, doing your panels with your phone, I love that. That exploring it attracts me more than just like when I'm on site taking the photo. Obviously, when you are taking the photo and everything aligns perfectly, and then you put the photo together on your computer and it comes to life, it's like a previous, like what you have previsualized before, like you're getting the final product. That is amazing. That feeling is amazing. But yeah, scouting and experiencing and discovering a new place, I love that. Yeah,
no, it's fantastic. Is there a specific place where you felt a deep emotional connection and you said, okay, wow, this is it. This is really why I'm a photographer. Can you share something around that experience?
Oh, there are so many. When I went to Iceland in 2021, I was running the workshops at that time. I got pretty lucky that I was able to go to Iceland for work, and yeah, like experiencing that place was insane. And just like seeing how much it has to offer outside the more visited areas. Yeah, like I would say, yeah, Iceland is amazing. But that this is like a normal topic for everyone. But I could say also like the area of Milford Sound in New Zealand,
Yep.
like those fjords, like there is not many people going there. Maybe just Patino and Marcadamos, just like exploring every corner. Yeah, those places are like where is are for me those the places that get more to me are the places where I feel like really small. It's like I'm no one here. Yeah, and it's like, and also what you are experiencing to get there.
Yeah.
You have to hike 5 hours with 25, 28 kilos backpack to get to one place. And it's, okay, you're making a big effort to be here. This is going to be special. So yeah, it's not that I got like a specific area where I would just go and go again and again because, so for example, closer to Sydney, we got Cathedral Rocks, but
Yeah.
it's tricky to get something special there. Like, of course, like the beach is changing all the time with the level of sand, and you can get rocks that are like, oh, weren't exposed the last time that I was there.
Sure.
But it's probably like the most photographed seascape around Sydney.
Yeah.
But I will go there. I still have fun there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's not that I will have like, how can I say it? Like a fetish spot where I would go again and again.
No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. In terms of memorable shoots, what is the most memorable shoot that you've done?
There are some. I normally push the boundaries a little bit doing my seascapes.
Yep.
So it could be shooting seascapes like one of the probably, how can I say, down in the Sapphire Coast in Camel Rock.
Yep.
I've seen plenty of photos of that place before. And yeah, but
I've done it several times.
Yeah, I can imagine. So my partner for my birthday, like just hired a van and she was like, oh, you have a free ticket to go wherever you want with that van. And so we head down there. And yeah, like the weather was awful. It was raining, like overcasted, like there was no changes of lights at all. It was just like the sky was so flat. But yeah, I told my partner, we are here. We just have to go. Even the tide wasn't right at that time. I think it was like a mid tide. But yeah, I went there. And I have to say, when I shoot seascapes, I go full on. And full on is probably like a little bit too dangerous.
Okay.
So yeah, I got like these waders. It's like a fisherman waders. And I just put them on. I go with my tripod, the camera, boom, boom. So yeah, when I remember when we were walking just like down the rocks, there were another two photographers. And they were like, what are you doing, man? Are you going to go scuba diving or what? And they were up in the rocks, like not getting cold. And for me, like if you are shooting seascape, like you need to get wet. Like
it's not a seascape if you're not wet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that shoot. It was like nothing special in the sky. Absolutely nothing. But I was like, what is this?
Nice.
Yeah, I was just like receiving the waves. And at that time, most of the photographers were shooting when the breaks like break.
Yeah.
So you have the splash coming to the camera.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like experiencing when the wave goes out.
Yeah.
And it's like when the wave is breaking, like that splash is gonna go all over the place. But when you are standing in one spot and the wave is receding to the sea, like that leading line is insane. It works really nice in photos. So the first time actually that I was practicing this was in North Narrabeen.
Yeah.
And it was a photo catch-up that we did for when we had that big fire in 2019.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I think we went, I don't know, like 50, 70 photographers just to shoot like the pool and all that area. And yeah, I was like covering water and just trying to get that. So back to the Camel Rock, when I was just like, I normally, before getting in the water, like I apart from scouting, I watched a lot, especially when shooting seascapes. For me, seascapes, photographing seascapes is almost like rock fishing. You have to spend like, when you choose a spot, you have to spend like a good 20 minutes to see, okay,
before you go and stand
what
there.
waves are going to smash you, what kind of waves are working, where is that leading line?
Got an incoming or an outgoing tide, all of those things make it. Yeah.
So when we arrived to the place and I chose the location, stay there for 10, 15 minutes, just watching what he was doing. I was like, okay. And yeah, like that shoot, I think I just got 2 photos from it. And as I said, like nothing super special, but it was like a flat, dark, moody atmosphere. And I was like, okay, this might work. It's not much. But yeah, like those images, I'm pretty happy with them. And funny story is when I came back home, I edited the files. One of the photographers that were shooting at the Camel Rock reached me out. And I was like, fuck, mate, like I just saw what you did that night. And I have to say, you have big balls. I've never done something like that. But yeah, it's I love that. And shooting seascapes, it could be, like really not memorable because it's not.
Yeah.
Like I love it. It's just, yeah.
That's a great tale, though.
I have to say though, and I want to do a disclaimer here. I don't want anyone listening to go to the beach and then just getting covered the waves. No, that's not my advice. Sometimes I push the limits a little bit too hard and I get smashed by waves. And I developed a technique to shoot seascapes that I had never seen before. That is basically you put your tripod on the ground, and then whenever you want to shoot, like you place the camera, but the camera is free in my hand.
Okay.
For example, when the waves are going in is when I will lift my camera, obviously my camera pointing back. And yeah, like sometimes I recede and I'm completely wasted by the waves. But then when the waves are receding is when I will place the camera and start shooting. Okay. But yeah, by any means, I want anyone like putting themselves in danger to shoot seascapes. That's not my advice.
Yeah, my advice is be safe out there, people. Don't do
absolutely. And get a good insurance as well. That's like a superpower to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I've killed several cameras in seascaping simply from standing in the wrong spot. And one was even down at Coogee where you've got the seawall at the back of the pool.
Yeah.
And I was back there and the waves were not coming up there. And then this one wave just came.
That's why.
It was only about that deep when it hit me at the feet, but it hit the wall and just went up and over the top.
Yeah, I know where
just covered me.
Nowadays the cameras are pretty good and the weather is just getting better and better. So they
don't like salt though.
Yeah, I know. My 6D was like, not working at all, not good. And then my 5D Mark IV, that one is a workhorse.
Yeah,
that one has like
the weather sealing on that is very good.
Very good, very good. And also the lens that I was using, it was the 16-35 Mark III for seascapes. And yeah, beautiful. I had never had issues. I had a little bit of issue with the focus switch on the lens, but with the camera, perfectly fine. And now with the R5, I got a little bit of salt, especially in New Zealand. I think it was like 2023 or no, 2022, completely drenched. And I'm still shooting today.
Wow.
Yeah. But saying this, like you got a good insurance that can be an accident. Obviously, you're playing too much. Maybe the insurance is gonna tell you that it's not gonna be covered. But yeah, it can give you like a peace of mind when you are out there playing with $15,000 equipment.
Yeah, definitely. What about dodgy experiences? Have you had any of those?
Now that I was talking about that experience, like getting my camera dented in New Zealand, I was shooting. Yeah, I believe it was 2023 2023. I think it was Easter 2023. I was shooting in Motukieke Beach.
Okay. Yep.
In the west coast of New Zealand, and I went there. Like again, like I like scouting the places and waiting. When I go to my photo trips, like I don't have a plan. I don't even book any kind of accommodation. I just got a car and then I just go from day to day, like checking the weather and checking conditions and chasing conditions, I would say. So yeah, I went to this area because I have seen photos of that place and I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Motukieke Beach, you have these beautiful stacks, huge stacks. And then you have a rock platform with a starfish colony. So that rock platform is you just can't get to it on low tide. So I went my first sunset there, pretty safe, no dramas, not the best light. So I was like, okay, I'll stay here just to wait for a better sunset or better conditions. So the following morning, obviously this faces west, like there is nothing to shoot there at sunrise. But I was like, I'll go there still to scout more compositions. Like the rock platform is maybe, I don't know, 50 square meters, like 100 square meters. So there is like different areas where you just have to like jump from channel to channel. And yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just scout it just for sunset that it had a little bit more of potential. And yeah, I was like, at the beginning, I normally scout just with my phone. But I was like, if I'm looking to do panos, I do the panos with my phone and then just them, this works, this one works, this one doesn't. But yeah, I just started shooting, like the sky got a little bit of color. It was like a reverse sunrise. And yeah, I was just like shooting and shooting. And then suddenly I look back and I misjudged completely the tide. I was stuck there, the rock platform. And this rock platform, I think it is like maybe 50 meters, like 70 meters from the shore.
Yeah.
And like my way back, it was like completely in water.
Wow.
So yeah, I just grabbed my camera backpack and then put the lens cover and put my tripod like this. And I just had to like swim to the bay.
Wow.
And that's what I did. I like jumped in the water and I had like waves crashing on me. And I was just like holding the tripod up as high as possible so the camera could survive. And yeah, in some areas, I was just like floating just to go back to the shore. And yeah, I remember when I arrived to the shore, I just checked my water level all the way here.
Yeah.
Camera backpack in the back. Amazing. It was just like the front pocket that got a little bit of water inside because but it was a waterproof camera backpack anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like, I remember just like taking a video to my partner because she knows me when I'm shooting seascapes. Yeah, she was like, take it out there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, this has been a close call. So yeah, that one was like probably one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Saying this, I went back for sunset, of course.
As you do.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw a panorama there that got shortlisted in the Australian Nature Photographer of the Year that organizes the South Australian Museum. Fantastic. In 2024. And that photo has been around Australia for a year. So that's pretty special. But yeah, that was a sketchy one. That was a very sketchy one.
Insane. As I said before, kids, don't do what Jose does.
Yeah. And it was funny because obviously they have two kind of tides, like low. Yeah. It's like here, like one low tide. It's more like a mid tide. So at that time, I didn't know, and it was like, okay, it's just a low tide. But yeah, and when I came back for sunset, there were two guys. One with a camera, and he was like a little bit scared to go there. I was like, okay, do your thing. I can guide you there. That's not an issue. He was like, no, I might just stay around here. I was like, perfectly fine. And yeah, I had another guy that came with like classes. And he was like, what do you think? Could I make it there? I was like, sure, mate, I'll just give you a hand. So I just got his backpack and then I just grabbed his arm and I just got him there. And he had the best time there. And he was like so grateful for that. So yeah, it was pretty special. That was like, I can say like a memorable and a very sketchy shoot. Yeah.
Amazing. How do you think landscape photography has helped you grow or change as a person?
Yeah, as I said, like thanks to photography, I discovered Mother Nature. Not that I discovered it, but it showed me like how to appreciate it more than I ever did before. And I think Mother Nature like humbles people. Like they put you to a ground level. This is Mother Nature. Like I'm the powerful one. You are no one here.
That's it.
And I absolutely love that feeling. So yeah, it also slowed me down a little bit. Like there are some situations when you are just like, it's like a frenetic shoot and your adrenaline is like all over the place. But it showed me like how to appreciate the experience more than just going back home with a photo. And that's like super important for me. In the past, I remember when I was like my first years here in Sydney, I was trying to shoot absolutely every sunset. Like every sunset that I had an opportunity, I just went out. And when I couldn't shoot a sunset, or I was like shooting sunsets for work and it wasn't like a proper like project for me,
Yep.
I was so pissed that I couldn't get that sunset photo. And yeah, I was like really upset about it. Or we had a storm and it was like, oh, I cannot get that one. So upset about it. But now it's just, I appreciate it more when I'm outside.
Yeah.
And if I went, for example, this Ista to the Great Ocean Road. And obviously, I call these ones like photo trips. Like I just still organize them and you put a lot of effort to go there. So obviously, as a photographer, you want to get the photos. You want to get something. But yeah, like when I went there, like it was definitely my mistake going there during Ista. But I had no choice. And it was like packed. I never seen the Great Ocean Road like that before. Like the area of the 12 Apostles, Gibson Steps, it was like madness. Absolutely madness. So yeah, I just decided to avoid those the visited areas and then just try to explore a little bit more. And if I came back home to Sydney without any photo, I was just like trying to experience and make the most from what I was and what I was doing. So yeah, I think it's the same. Like being a landscape photographer is like pretty difficult, especially you are living in a place like in Sydney. Like we don't have like beautiful landscapes here. Obviously, we have the Blue Mountains and everything, but it's not like if you were living in Milford Sound. That's your backyard. Or if you are living in Iceland, where you have every single crazy kind of landscape around you. So when you are living in a place and you are like putting a lot of effort to go to a location that you have planned, you have put a lot of hours into research in the area, a lot of money, because we are spending thousands in equipment and thousands in flights, hiring cars. And then you go to a place and you don't take a photo. Like at the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is not worth it. But yeah, thanks to photography, I developed like a different approach. Live the experience first. That's very good memories. And then if you can get a good photo, awesome.
Yeah.
Saying this,
photo is a bonus. It's not the one and only purpose.
But saying this, we are landscape photographers. Like we need a photo,
That's right.
Especially you are making a living from it.
When you've spent money to go to somewhere like Iceland, you want to come back with a photo.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately or sadly, landscape photography is not like a huge part of my income. I would say sadly. But yeah, like I'm not still in a position that I need to get a photo in order to put some food on the table, if that makes sense. So that is low approach. I appreciate it at the moment. If one day I'm a full-time landscape photographer and I need that photo to survive, that could be a different story.
Yeah. You mentioned running your business and landscape not being a big part of it, and that's fine. What have you learnt from running your own business?
I learned that I don't want to work for someone else ever.
It's a good feeling. It is a good feeling being
being your own boss is amazing. And as I said, like landscape photography is not like a huge part of my business, but because I'm a full-time freelancer, so having the time and having the position to decide when I can go away or not.
Yep.
And like, for example, I need to save more money, so I just need to accept more jobs. And But sometimes, like you just see a week has potential or a long weekend that you can take, and it's just no, I'm not accepting bookings that week. So yeah, running my own business is really daunting. Some months you have like barely any incomes. Some months are amazing.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not for everyone. Obviously, you don't. Finding a balance is quite tricky, like economically with your free time and all of that. But I do love it. And I can feel that my mental health has improved a lot since I'm just like working for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've got to say exactly the same. It is amazing being in that position where you're the one in control of the decisions you make, and it's not always how much money you make in a month that makes the difference. It is absolutely a much better place to be mentally, I think, where you're in control.
And I think we are pretty lucky here in Australia.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like back at home, if you were like an entrepreneur, or you just wanted to be different, to do something different.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a really, like there are not many freelancers, and it's not like the system is not made to push you to do that. While in Australia, set up your own business is like super simple. There is no headaches there. Like even the tax system is not like too bad. So yeah, I think we are pretty lucky here in Australia. And yeah, if any listeners are like between the line deciding, if just give it a go. It's not, as I said, it's not for everyone, but just give it a go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think also one of the things that I've found is that having that before you make the leap, if you're in full-time work or even part-time work now, before you make the leap into being your own boss, thinking about, okay, I need to have at least some financial cushioning there before I get. So save like mad so that you've got yourself into a position where, okay, financially, if the first couple of months aren't great, you're not going to starve, or you're not going to get kicked out.
Obviously that will help a lot. Otherwise, if you are trying to go freelancer with any clients, any companies that you are collaborating with, and you don't have anything you don't have any cash to survive, that could be different. And that's true. Like you will feel the pressure a lot. But as I said, just trying to get out of your comfort zone, try new things. And sometimes it's the push that you need to be on your own and do your own thing.
Absolutely. What do you like in terms of editing? Are you straight back into the editing suite when you go out for a shoot, or do you leave things to mellow for a while before you get into them?
So when I'm like during my photo trips, I would always back up my photos to the computer.
Sure.
And I don't normally touch the files until I feel like it.
Okay.
So sometimes I would like, even if I'm in the photo, like during that trip, for example, and I got like a little bit of time just to check if something that you have tried has worked. Like, for example, I took a photo in the Great Ocean Road with like focus stacking and everything and bracketing. So I was like, okay, have you done on site what you needed to do in order to get a proper photo? So I would just check the files, or if I'm trying a panorama.
Make sure you don't have to go out again tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right. So if I'm trying to do a panorama, just to see if I got like enough photos to stitch everything and put everything together. But I don't normally touch the files. I don't have, as I said, like I'm not a full-time landscape photographer, so I don't have the need to put out there like photos and new content every day.
Yeah.
If that was the case, it could be probably a different story. But I would still have like lots and thousands of photos that I have never touched from my drives. And I think it is important, because sometimes when we come back from like a photo trip, we are hyped.
Yeah.
You have like beautiful conditions. So, just to level down, breathe a little bit, even if it's just like a couple of days, and then you are just like a little bit more relaxed and everything is like a little bit more balanced, your mindset where it has to be, that would probably help.
What about editing? What are you doing that other people might not think of doing?
Editing is really important for me. And I spend a lot of hours, like daytime photos, for example. It's not that I got like a set workflow and I can tell you like I will spend like 30 minutes in every photo. I would just spend the time that I think a photo needs.
Yeah.
But I would say most of the times through post-processing, you can express yourself in a better way. So if is probably the way to express in one edited photo, what you were feeling and the emotions that you were having, or what the landscape that you were shooting at that time was like telling you. So being able through a different style, editing style or something like that, to be more, or try to express yourself more.
Sure.
I think that's more my approach.
Okay.
As I said before, I understand photography more like an art than just like documenting something. So saying this, you are a painter and you are like, you go to Coogee Beach and then you are like painting the landscape that you are seeing, like through different styles, is what is going to make a paint completely different. It could be like an abstract. It's completely subjective. You know? So for me, it's exactly the same. It's not. It's more like a tool to help me to achieve and being able to tell people what I felt with that scene when I was shooting it.
What role does solitude play in your work? Do you prefer to be alone out in the field?
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I do need my own space from time to time, and even my partner like mentioned it to me. But having a buddy in your photo trips, it makes you go a little bit further.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, that trip that I went to New Zealand with Luke Hazard, that has been this podcast. Luke is like in a form that is incredible. Like he hikes those mountains, the snowy mountains, like every week out there. And his fitness level is like completely different to mine. So yeah, like going with him, for example, he was the one pushing me to go and to reach places, spots that if I was on my own, I would have probably gave up. So in that sense, it's really good. I do feel like when you are shooting with someone, though, like sometimes, as I said, like we become lazy, and if someone like finds a composition, like you want to shoot it as well.
Sure.
While being alone, like you have to be like 100% focused on what you are doing.
Yeah.
Because it's just you. It's just your mind what is going to determine like the composition that you are going to be shooting or not. So I like a little bit of balance on both. When I'm shooting astro, for example, I try to be as far as possible from anyone else because they drive me. Yeah.
Nothing worse than somebody turning their headlamp on in the middle of second exposure, is it?
Yeah, I got a really bad experience shooting at Cathedral Rocks one night.
Yeah.
Especially after, I had to climb at nighttime, like the little channel. It's not little, the channel. You come from the beach and then you pass the cave.
Yeah.
In low tide, that channel to go to the other side is completely dry. But obviously it was astro, so they are long sessions. It's not like you are just there for half an hour, something like that. It had to go well in advance, and the tide was like still going down, but it was like a mid-tide. So basically that channel was like completely in water.
Yeah.
So I had to climb the wall to get to the little shore that is there. And then the way back to the southern part is a little bit less hilly. Yeah. But I basically climbed at nighttime, just like from like boulder to boulder. And then when I was there, I don't know how many photographers came to the other side and they were like shooting from the cave.
Yeah.
Just like lighting up everything. And I was just like shouting at them. And it's, not great. So when I'm shooting astro, I try to be as far as possible from everyone. Yeah.
I've had some fun in Bombo Quarry a few times. Yeah,
Bombo Quarry, the last time I was there. It's true that we went like a group of like maybe 5 or 6. But when we were there, maybe there were like 20 other photographers. And they weren't in a group or anything. Like they weren't in a workshop. Because when you are in a workshop, when I run my own workshops, like I tell people what they can do and not.
Exactly.
Yeah. And just educate them what they can do on site to try to avoid disturbing like any other photographers. Like when, especially people from Sydney, like they go there to Bombo because obviously there is still a beautiful sky.
Absolutely.
I think it's a Bortle 3, Bortle 4.
Yeah.
Lighting up every single stack, red lights everywhere. And at that time, I was starting to use my tracker. So I was tracking the skies. I was tracking the skies for maybe 3-5 minutes. And in every single frame, I had a flare from a headlight or a red light from a head torch. And I was like, nah, this is not it. So actually, I haven't visited any of those places since.
Yeah.
And with my astrophotography, I like panoramas. Here in Australia, we are really lucky. I think Australia is one of the best places to shoot the skies, astro skies, not just because of the darkest skies, that of course, like the outback of Australia is incredible to fly, but also the position of the Milky Way throughout the year.
Yeah.
So now that it's rising, you still can have the panorama because it's not too vertical. If you go to New Zealand, when the Milky Way rising, it's like almost vertical.
Yeah, you're further south, you're not going to get the same wraparound effect.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are really lucky here. You got the Milky Way rising and you can shoot a panorama. It will show the entire sky. If the Milky Way is setting, you can do exactly the same. So especially when planning to do panoramas, if there are people around, sometimes the panoramas go like even 360 degrees. But let's say you are just want to capture the Milky Way arch, it could be like anything between 210 and 240 degrees.
Yeah.
So you have people around, especially shoot in the foreground. Nah, there is nothing you can do. So, yeah, I try to go
clone them out.
far from civilization and people, for those shots.
Fair enough. What about those times when you're struggling to find inspiration? How do you deal with that?
I just go out.
Okay.
As I said, like photography has taught me to experience and to embrace the feeling of being out more than just going back home with a photo. So yeah, just explore, because I do enjoy the process of that. So I love scouting. I love exploring and discovering new places. Yeah. So if we are landscape photographers, if Mother Nature doesn't inspire you, nothing will do it. If you are down, just head out. Like you will something that it can be even without your camera. You can go to the Maroubra beach. You can go to Malabar beach and try to look for something else, different foregrounds, things like that. And you will find something that points you out. And you can do this. And then you can go back with the camera. So yeah, being out or trying to be out as much as possible will help you to get the camera when you see something that you want to photograph. Yeah. You know, if you are stuck at home and you don't see anything around to photograph, so if you live in a big city and you are a landscape photographer, there is no landscapes around. So you don't go out and explore, and you are having that downtime of not shooting or not wanting to shoot, and you don't have anything around to shoot, it's like really difficult. But if you try to push yourself out and just try to embrace the experience, the story of being out, and just that feeling, it will spark your interest in photography again.
Yeah, sure. Where do you see photography's place in society?
That one is a tricky one, especially with AI coming into the world. We live in a very visual world at the moment. I think I was reading a while ago that, for example, Reels, or it can be on Instagram, it can be on Twitter, whatever, or TikTok, the videos are seeing an average of less than 3 seconds. And that's a video. A video is normally like visually more appealing than a still photo.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure when we post a photo on Instagram, for example, our photos are seen like less than a second before someone just like double click,
scrolls,
and then just to leave us a comment. Less than a second. And because in the past, like all these platforms were in computers. The mobile phones weren't a tool where we could watch the photos. Like you had Flickr, you had 500 pixels. Everyone were like seeing your photos like in a relatively big screen. Now everyone is like with the phone all the time. So it is tricky, obviously, because of the mobile phones as well. Everyone has the ability to go out and take photos with their phones. So we are like putting out there millions and millions of photos a day. In the past, when I started in photography, and especially when I was studying in my subject, they used to say if a good photographer is able to put like 9-10 photographers good photos a year, 9 good photos a year, that's a good year.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be someone, you need to put 10 photos every week.
That's right.
And that is crazy, because that is like limiting us. Like it's not making us more creative. It's just like pushing us to do something that we might not want to do. That's one of the reasons that I'm really bad with socials, and I post really little on Instagram, because when you have that feeling that the masses and this new system is like dictating what you need to do, is when I'm like, nah, you cannot tell me that I need to post like 1 photo a day, because I don't have that. And if it's not that I don't have the number of photos to post it, that I don't, because I don't do this full time.
It's the quality.
It's the quality. That's right. Yeah. So if you don't want to be repetitive with your photos and you're going to post like...
That's the thing.
Sometimes I'm on Instagram and I see like people like posting photos, the same photo every day.
Yeah.
And then a week passes and a new photo, but you see their grid and it's like the same photo. And I'm like, what are they doing? Maybe just like doing different experiments with this. But yeah, when these trends are like chasing you, is when you know, like the passion for something, it will just like minimize. Yeah, like I'm very passionate about landscape photography. I'm very passionate about photography. So if someone is pushing me and if someone is telling me, hey, mate, you need to do this in order to be a better photographer or in order to be, or to get more clients, it's not going to resonate to me. I won't do it.
Yeah. I see it slightly differently, but I totally agree with a lot of what you're saying. It drives either of two behaviours. One is repetition. You'll see the same photo, as you said before, again and again, or the overall quality drops.
Yeah.
Because you're putting out secondary images as opposed to your primary ones, the ones that were portfolio worthy. So that one of those two things is going to happen if you're trying to post every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Globalization is beautiful. Like, I'm part of globalization. That's why I'm here in Australia, being from the other side of the world. And traveling nowadays is like way easier than it was like 50 years ago. That's why like the other photographers, the old school photographers, they wouldn't be able to put like that many photos like in 1 year. That's why you travel to America because you can afford it and you are from Europe. You get 10 photos from there in 1 year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know? So now what I was saying before is like there are so many, like everyone is creating content. Everyone is like putting something new up. But yes, it's just like this trend that it doesn't make sense to me. Saying this, if you are a full landscape photographer and you live in a beautiful place and you are able to put a photo a day, a hero photo a day, mate, good on you. That's awesome. You are a hero. But most of the people, we cannot do it.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. And then back to just leaving this aside of just trying to put more photos to this visual world that we are living and just like people just like scrolling down our photos. What I was saying before about AI, in the past, like not in the past, no, we don't have to go 10 years ago, 10 years back, but if you go 5 years back, you posted a photo and it's not a normal viewer and public, you say, that's Photoshop.
Yeah.
A photo that it was like, or you had the waves moving and everything, that's Photoshop.
Yeah.
Instead of that's Photoshop, that's AI.
Yeah.
And that's very bad for us. Like, I still feel like landscape photography is normally appreciated more through the community. Like a landscape photographer is going to appreciate your work way more than normal public. So, you know, when someone posts a photo of the Milky Way and you know the work that is behind.
Yeah.
So like, mate.
Yeah, particularly a pano, for example.
Yeah.
As you said, you're there
a track panorama, mate, you nailed this. Like, good on you. Like, I don't know how you put all this together. Like, hats off. But someone will say it. New generations, that's AI.
Yeah, that's
it. Just go out there, go to the outback, experience the darkest sky, and maybe you will probably enjoy it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be tricky. The future, yeah. Like I do embrace the tools, the new AI tools that come to the world to help us. For example, in the photography, the editing side, like in the past, like when they were in film and they wanted to do the dots and burn and they had to be in the lab, like covering areas. And then that was like hours and hours to do dots and burn. Can's Photoshop, we can do it like in a second. For example, 10 years ago, the noise in a photo, it wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we can do it with one click.
That's right.
So those tools that are here to help us, I love them. But the ones that are here to replace us and to misrepresent us, I'm not that happy about them.
No, I agree. What's your favorite thing about being a photographer?
Representing my vision through a photo.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter when I'm doing it for work. If I'm shooting like a beautiful house, it's like the way that I see something. That's what I'm trying to represent through my photography, more than trying to, obviously, like I have a lot of different clients, and they will dictate me what I have to take. But when you are free to do whatever you want, and then they open the door of the house, and then it's like, I trust you, shoot whatever. And you are able to represent that it could be a house, it could be a scene, but on your own way. That's what I love the most. And then, we have the final product, the final photo, and it's like you put everything together, and it's, that's exactly what I wanted to do. That's probably what I love the most. Nice.
What's your least favorite thing about being a photographer?
Probably having to deal with social networks. Like, I completely understand it. It's like part of the business. Like, you had to be out there, you had to be online. That's the world that we are living. Thanks to that, as I said, I'm here in Australia, or I'm here with you in the podcast. If it wasn't because I got an Instagram, you had never heard about me. But dealing with that, as I said, like these new trends and everyone just like following each other or doing exactly the same thing. That's something that I don't really enjoy. If I could have someone managing my socials, I would do it like straight away.
I don't know that I'd trust anyone to manage my socials.
I had someone that I'll try, someone that I knew from a friend.
Sure.
And it is completely different because like they
have a different perspective.
Understand the algorithm and everything, and it would be like, okay, the people that you are not interacting with, I will just delete them from your account and everything. And I was like, maybe they are like friends from, I don't know, 10 years or someone that I discovered, but I just don't interact. So that was a funny one. But it was just like a couple of weeks. But if I was doing landscape photography and I had to deal with my socials, you tell me, what you rather more doing, like exploring Milford Sound or spending 2 hours on Instagram every single day?
Yeah, I know what I'd rather do.
Absolutely.
And it's not Instagram.
It's the same. I'm not saying that you don't have to spend 2 hours on Instagram. And if it's part of your business and you enjoy doing it,
absolutely.
But that's not my thing.
Yeah, I get it. What's the best and or worst piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
The best one could be perseverance. As I've said before, like landscape photography you could give up really easily. If you spend thousands of dollars to go to a place and then you just don't come back home with the photo that you wanted, it could pull you down big time. It's not just the money that you're spending, it's your time as well. Most of the landscape photographers that are not like full-time landscape photographers, they will spend like their full annual leave to go to these places. That means like missing time with families, spending a lot of money. And then if you don't get what you want, it is tricky. But if you are consistent, like you keep pushing yourself to go out, you keep yourself shooting, discovering, scouting new places. That's the way. And everyone, even like the most renowned full-time photographers, they make mistakes. They go and like they miss the focus in one focus stacking photo. And they have to go back to it. And it's something that you have to deal with. It's true that, as I said, like when you are starting, those big mistakes, they appear like even bigger because they have cost you a lot. Like you have a lot of effort. But keep trying, keep exploring. Keep doing new things also sparks your creativity a lot. Because, I do seascapes. I know how to do them. But what if I do this? What if I try this? What if I put the camera here? What if that is very important? And that makes like to get that motivation back. So that could be, perseverance. That could be the best piece of advice that I can give to someone. Don't give up. Keep going. And probably the worst one that I could ever give to someone is just like what we were saying before. It says the trends. Do whatever
everyone else is doing.
If your viewers or you have a reel that has like 1 million views because you are doing something that you don't like, keep doing it. That could be the worst.
Fantastic. Who else should I be talking to on the podcast? What other photographers out there that you think I need to talk to?
There are so many. I could tell you like a list of 20, 30 Spanish photographers that haven't touched this podcast for a reason. Let's say, for example, my colleague, Dan Zafra. He's the founder of Capture the Atlas with Aston, who is his partner. Yeah, Dan Zafra runs Capture the Atlas, and it's a platform like running workshops internationally. His work is incredible, and he has influence in thousands and thousands of people. He could be like a really good one to tell you how to manage the business and all of that I'm not that good about it because, as I said, landscape photography is not my business. Australian, for example, I would tell you astrophotographers. So John Rutter, another colleague, the one that I organized the Australian Outback Astrophotography last September. Yep. It could be also William Godward from South Australia.
Okay, yep.
Work is like top class. Yep. Michael Go, astrophotographer. Yeah, he was one of the, like when I started with 500 pixels and you had the homepage, the most trend photos. Yeah, Michael Go was always there.
He was there all the time. Yeah,
I'm not sure he's shooting astro that much, but I know that he's still out there trying it. The other one, not Australian, is Tom Rye. Tom Rye is a Kiwi photographer. I believe he's 20 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, his work is being like published everywhere. Yeah. He's young fella, lived in Mount Cook Village for a year, something like that. So that area is like his place. Yeah. And the work that he's putting out there is just like another level.
Oh.
As I said, like there is like 1,000 of photographers that I could tell you, but I try to go more to my thingies, so more to astro.
Thank you for those. I've got one more question for you, and it's: do you like pineapple on pizza?
That's a good one. Look, I love food in general. If I go to a pizza place, I would probably don't order it. Yep. But if I'm back from like a photo trip or something like that, and I've been like feeding myself with freeze-dried food and biltong, and I would eat absolutely anything. So it wouldn't be an issue for me to eat pineapple on pizza.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show, Jose. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks to you for putting all of this together. As I said before, I feel like pretty honored to be here. I don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest.
I do.
What's in your podcast? You have the best photographers in the world. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing here and who is going to find this interesting.
You're definitely out there, mate.
I really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say when I was recommending you, John Ruta does these t-shirts.
Sleep Astro.
Sleep Astro. And just sending him my love. He's an awesome fella. And I'm here with his t-shirt.
Fantastic. Where can people find your work?
So they can find me on Instagram. As I said, I'm not like very active. I try to publish something like from month to month or something like that.
That's what it is.
Yeah, they can find me there. The Instagram is JL_Cantabrana Garcia. You will have to add this to your description because it is really tricky. And the website is the same, jlcantabranagarcia.com. I got a print shop there. The website is like divided into categories. So one is the architectural stuff. That is what I normally do on my daily basis. And the other one is like the more personal stuff. I post and I upload photos there that have never seen and will never see the light on Instagram, for example, and other platforms. Yep. More like experimental stuff, more personal stuff than, that's what, as we said before, like I try to post on Instagram just the things that I think are the best. And I got a print shop there, and then I use Facebook, but the way that I use it is not, I don't have a private Facebook, for example.
Okay.
So I got like a blank private account to link the business one. And it's the one that I basically, when I post a photo on Instagram, I will just click on like post on Facebook as well. I spend really, really little on socials. So sorry in advance if I don't like your photos, if I don't watch this, or I don't comment on Facebook. Like I'm just like really bad. I'd rather more spending time somewhere else than,
I get it. Thanks very much, Jose. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for having me. Hopefully, someone finds this interesting.
I hope so. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show, and pardon me. Thank you again. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show and keep listening because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work in this podcast at grantswinburnephotography.com along with prints and photography gear. I'm also on Vero, Photo, YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.